welcome to the channel. Just wanted to let you guys know that we're doing an Xbox Series S giveaway. That's correct, an Xbox Series S giveaway to one lucky member on this channel. I'm going to go through the details, but please be sure to tune in. So the first thing you have to do is join the NSC Flick app, then subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and then also retweet and like this pinned tweet that I have. And once you finish that, you're going to open the Flick chat and just comment on any chat the word Xbox. And once we get to 8,000 subscribers on YouTube and 500 people on Flick, a winner will be announced. And just so y'all know, this is no cap at all. So it's a Series S. They put X, but if you look right there, it's a Series S. So we also have a partnership going on with Flick right now. You can download it from your store. You join it. It's actually really dope. What it is essentially a sports group chat that allows us to run polls. I'll be doing and going live for games in it. This will also be a platform where you can ask me questions directly and get access to exclusive content. I did an interview with EDP. I did not upload it to my channel, but it is in the Flick chat. So you'll get access to stuff like that. You'll be able to ask me questions. You'll be able to provide insight for videos and stuff like that in the future. So this is for all of the people that make up this community that really just want to come together and have kind of a comment section in the actual app. It's pretty dope. You can also access all of our podcasts from the app as well. So it's very cool. And then there's breaking news and all kind of other cool features. It's really dope. Be sure to join the NSC Flick. The link is in the description. Welcome to New Stripe City, a YouTube channel for die-hard Bengals fans. I'm your host, Ace Boogie, and welcome to the new viewers and the returning die-hard subs to the channel. We do weekly interviews here and provide analysis on the latest Bengals breaking news. So if you're new here, please consider subscribing. And if you want to know how to subscribe, there's a button below this video, and we also provide a link in the video description. So if you're looking for that, it should be there. New Stripe City is proud to announce that our channel has partnered with Fanatics, an NFL licensed merchandiser for NFL.com and Bengals.com as well. Through Fanatics, you can buy men's and women's and kids' Bengals apparel and jerseys, and also help grow our channel through using the links in our video description. When you do that, it truly helps grow the channel, and we did this because it allows Bengals fans to not only enjoy our content, but also get top-tier authentic Bengals merchandise. So if you're looking to get a new Burrow or T. Higgins jersey or even a fresh hoodie or a hat, click on the link in our description. And when you do that, it helps support the channel. Who Dey Nation, what's going on? It's your boy Ace Boogie. Hello. We're here for Sunday. The Bengals are taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is going to be a tough one. But as I started off last week, we'll start off with some of the inactives, courtesy of Tyler Dragon. It looks like Austin Seibert is inactive. John Ross is inactive again. So this is a second straight week for John Ross. We can talk about that. Mackenzie Alexander is out. That was expected. Logan Wilson, Geno Atkins, Trevion Williams, and Keaton Sutherland. So those are our inactives. But there's some other news going on too. So it looks like LaShawn Sims is actually going to be starting on the outside for the Bengals. So that's interesting to say. So that seems that he will be taking Darius Phillips' spot. And there's also been some other moves in terms of Christian Covington starting for Geno Atkins. Geno did return to practice this week, but it seemed like it was more so individual drills. And it also looks like Mixon will be playing. There was a report that came out yesterday that he suffered some kind of chest injury in practice, but all seems well. Seems like he is going to be starting. Now, we kind of talked about it a little bit as well. Alex Redmond is making the start at right guard. So no Billy Price, no Fred Johnson. This really isn't a surprise if you are in the NSC Flick chat. And if you aren't, be sure to join that chat because we discuss all of these topics in there. I send you anything that I come across. And then it's also a cool medium where you can ask me questions. So we do have some special things coming up in the future. Most notably, possibly early next week, we have a new interview. And if you want any clues on that, if you join the Flick chat, we can discuss it there. I also will be taking some questions or screening interview questions for that one in Flick Chat as well. So if you're not familiar with what Flick Chat is, if you're familiar with essentially what Discord is, it's very similar to that, except it's for Bengals fans. So they have chats and polls. You guys saw it in the intro before this. And then also, if you join it, you also enter for a Xbox giveaway. So be sure to do that. But let's get into it. This is going to be a game that is very important for the Bengals. And I kind of said that I was actually somewhat worried about this game because I think a lot of people are really just looking at what happened to the Jaguars against the Dolphins, and they're really overlooking them. But you have to look at the two games prior that they had. They were able to beat the Indianapolis Colts. They were able to hang in very tough with the Tennessee Titans. Yes, those are divisional games. I do understand that they should be more familiar with those teams, but those teams are very good. So I think with that in mind, people have to remember that part of it. And then you also have to not overlook what they have going on offense. Yes, their defense has some holes in it, but their offense has been very reliable. They've got a young guy. And if you guys are into fantasy, which I am, he's on my team. James Robinson is a good running back. He's a guy that can really hurt you not only on the ground, but also in the passing game as well, as he had 83 yards in that Miami Dolphins game. So that's something to look out for. DJ Chark, another guy that's going to be healthy for them in this game. The Bengals are going to have to stop. So with them having Sims in there, I don't know if they feel like Sims, with him coming from Tennessee, may be more familiar with Chark, may know what he likes to do. That may be a potential thing there, but DJ Chark is going to be active. And then, of course, we all know him, Tyler Eifert. That's going to be another guy that we're going to have to defend against. This time he's on the other team. And as you know, the Bengals, without them having a Logan Wilson, that is somewhat scary, right? Because Tyler Eifert is a guy that can take the top off of a defense, can really get in there in the red zone, can really hurt the safeties and the linebackers in coverage. So we're going to have to do a good job of keeping him in check. And when you look at it from that aspect, there's a lot of weapons that this Bengals defense is going to have to go against. And you also talk about the rookie Lavish Shenault. He's a good player as well. Some had him as being possibly the best receiver in this class at one point. He obviously had some injuries and setbacks that kept him from that, but still a talented player. So that's going to have to be something that this Bengals defense is ready to go against. And with them having a guy like Geno Atkins out, with them having Mike Daniels out, with them having Logan Wilson out, this is a potentially scary matchup for them. So we'll have to see how the defense comes out early, because from my understanding, the Jaguars, they don't really have issues too much on offense. Outside of Gardner Minshew being a guy that could potentially give you some turnovers, that has to be something that this defense can take advantage of. You have to be able to stop James Robinson on the ground. You can't let this be a game that gets away from you like the Cleveland did when it comes to defending the run. So those are going to be issues in this game. This offense, I have full, complete confidence that Joe Burrow is going to go off today. Like, he's going to have a good game. And the thing is, defensively, from talking to UCF Jaguar, the Jags actually do something similar to the Bengals with that zone. And UCF Jaguar talked about the short passes really messing up their defense. And that's what the Bengals do. We know that. That's what this offense has been to start off the season. It's been a lot of quick passes. So hopefully if the Bengals can exploit that, then they should be in this game. But what they have to do is they have to turn those drives into 7 points, because this could be a high-scoring affair. Obviously, with the Jaguars, I think one of the things is some people underestimate, and if you need an example of this, just go back to the Bengals and Browns game, right? That was a horrible performance for the defense. The Jaguars are coming off of a similar performance. However, they didn't score as much, but their defense essentially got assaulted by the Miami Dolphins. So they're going to have to bounce back this week, and they're going to have to make adjustments against the Bengals. And so I think a lot of people are just expecting that we're just going to drop 30 or 40 on these guys. I don't think so. I think that they're going to come to play, and we're going to have to cash in those games and opportunities in the red zone. The offense has to do it. Joe Burrow is going to be the X factor today. The offensive line, he's going to have to work with it. I mean, we know that this isn't the best offensive line, and they're really getting a real test today, because this is a Jaguars team that hasn't been good at getting to the quarterback. And I don't think that we can really suffice or we can really say right now that that is what they are, because this is the first 3 games of the season, right? And they've gone against teams with better offensive lines than the Bengals. Let's just call it how it is. So we're going to have to actually see that today, because they do have talent. They do have Josh Allen, who was a top 5 or top 10 NFL draft pick. He is a guy that can get to the quarterback. So they're going to have to make sure that they keep an eye on him. Obviously, Chason is another guy. Brian Taven, some of these other guys, they have to protect Joe Burrow. And with them having Alex Redmond in, we're going to have to see what he can do at the right guard position. I'm not a big Alex Redmond believer, but I don't think that the Bengals had any other choice or any other option to throw in there. So we'll see what Redmond can do. But they have to be able to give Joe Burrow enough time to be able to make these passes, to be able to take advantage of the secondary for the Jaguars, which hasn't really been good. So we'll have to see where that goes. In terms of John Ross being inactive, I am not surprised about that. I mean, John Ross really has had so many opportunities. It's really just a broken record at this point. That we keep even mentioning him. The Bengals have more than enough capable receivers. If John Ross is a guy that they really feel like is going to continue to be inactive, at some point you have to think about trading this guy. One thing that I think that the Bengals should have done this week is really looked at the trade market for offensive linemen. Now, I understand offensive line is an issue around the league. I understand that. But to me, I think that they really downplayed this offensive line issue. And we know that it's an issue. This is, about 4 years now, 4 to 5 years, depending on how you count it, that this has really been an issue for the Cincinnati Bengals. This isn't a surprise. So them just kind of sitting on their hands and saying that Alex Redmond is the answer is somewhat mind-boggling, right? But we'll see what happens today. I think what their actual plan is that they're waiting for Xavier Su'a-Filo to get back because they felt like he had, a good week 1. But Su'a-Filo isn't the only issue with this offensive line. It's a lot of issues there. So I think that, like Adrian Vallejo, thank you, sir, for commenting. I think, like he's saying, I think Philadelphia is a good place or a good target to trade John Ross to, or anyone that's looking for one. Like, even if it's the Green Bay Packers, whoever can give you some kind of lineman or linebacker, even if it's a D tackle at this point, with us not knowing when Geno Atkins is coming back, I think that you have to look at that deal. I think that you have to think about it and consider it, because at this point, some people are saying, the Bengals, they can get back into it. This season isn't over. And we'll talk about the coronavirus as well. Not to get any strikes there, but we'll talk about the virus as well and how that impacts the actual NFL season. But the thing is, yes, the Bengals can and could win this game, but this coaching staff has to put them in the position to win it. And when you look at a guy like Jay Gruden, who we're all familiar with, he's a guy that is able to call an efficient offense. Whether you liked him or not when he was in Cincinnati or not, he's been a proven guy that can really put points on the board and can score. I mean, we've saw his creativeness when he was here, and that's something that I haven't seen here, and that's something that we expected from Zach Taylor. I can't remember the last time we ran like trick plays. Like, there's no creativity to this offense. And as much as you want to talk about it, when you look back at what Jay Gruden did when he came here, it was somewhat similar to what the Bengals were looking for. And I said this on a long episode ago, I think when we were actually going through the process of trying to go out and get a Zach Taylor. It was a similar thing that the Bengals said. And for anybody who was a fan way back in 2010 or before that, it was the same thing. When the Bengals had a stale offense with Bob Bratkowski, the thing that they said, which is similar to what they were saying when they were looking for a head coach, is we're looking for a young guy. We're looking for somebody that's innovative, creative, a guy that can come in here and do some things. Basically the opposite of what Bob Bratkowski was at that time. That was what Jay Gruden was. When he came in, he made this team effective offensively with 2 young rookies, with AJ Green, Andy Dalton. We already know the story, but you have to think about this. This was a guy that made sure that AJ was targeted. I've had former players come on this show. We've talked with Jeff Blake before. A lot of guys don't understand why AJ Green over the years, not just this season, has been targeted more. Jay Gruden was a guy that targeted AJ Green all the time. Like, when you look at it, when you look back at the numbers, some of his highest target years came within Jay Gruden. And for me, I think the only knock on him was sometimes he wouldn't commit to the run. But I think once he moved on to Washington, he was able to do that. So that is a guy that we're going to have to game plan for. He's going to know some of the ins and outs of this team. Even though it was so long ago, he's a guy that can exploit it. He knows how good Tyler Eifert is, and he's in that system with Jay Gruden now. So that being said, this is an offense where in Jacksonville, where even though they haven't had anywhere as near or as close as the talent as Cincinnati is, and that's no slight against Jacksonville, I think that they do have some talent. But when you talk about having AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, John Ross being inactive, and all of these other guys. They don't have that. So from that perspective, he's putting out a better performance statistically. If you go and look at the stats right now, Jacksonville is ranked higher in offense than the Bengals, right? In terms of efficiency, they're 7th in the league. Like, they can score. The Bengals are not an efficient offense. So what they have to do in this game is get out of Zach Taylor what they thought they were getting, a young, innovative, creative mind that's able to come in here and execute a game plan that works. And so hopefully we get that. But yeah, if it were me, I would definitely trade John Ross. And this offensive line, I think, definitely has to be dealt with. And a lot of people are saying, hey, we can still win this season. And these are games that we should win. I hate to harp on some of the other games, but those were games that we should have won as well. And you can't just come out there and say, just because you think that a team isn't as good as the Bengals, that we're going to win, because that was the case last week against Philadelphia and the Eagles. You have to remember, in that game, at one point, Deshaun Jackson went out of the game. You talk about Dallas Goedert. Like, it was easy to really just lock in on Zach Ertz and Greg Ward. Like, who else were they going to go to outside of Miles Sanders? Like, it really made the game plan for the defense and for this coaching staff more effective and easy to actually go at. And they weren't able to rise to the occasion and do that. And so now we've got Doug Marrone coming in. We'll have to see. We'll have to see which coaching staff is able to win this game, because although Joe Burrow is great, although he is amazing, he is as advertised, he has not played bad in any of these games to start this season. I don't expect him to play bad this game, but it's not all on him. Some of that has to go with the coaching, and the coaching has to show that they are able to win these games, because that is an equalizer. Whether you like it or not, coaching comes in here to play. Like, even if you look outside of the Cincinnati Bengals, you look at the Baltimore Ravens and that Chiefs game. 2 great coaches, right? 2 coaches that have won Super Bowls. But Andy Reid is the better offensive mind. He's a better coach. And you saw that in that game. When they're throwing passes to left tackles or to linemen, that is being outcoached. And that's what the Bengals have to do today. We'll have to see. So with that being said, I will open this up for some questions. Please remember, if you do a super chat or you send a super chat, that helps support the channel. It helps support us here. We appreciate it. It also guarantees that I will answer one of your questions. So shout out to everybody in the comments. Someone told me happy Sunday, Ace. Appreciate that, bro. Trade AJ Green and John Ross for a first-round pick or a solid right guard. I think, to trade 2 of your receivers, I think that would be too much. I think also with the AJ Green thing, being that you franchised him for this year, if I'm not mistaken, I'm not a cap guy. This is probably an Andre Parada kind of question. But I think even if you trade that, it's essentially that you're paying $18 million for that draft pick. So I would definitely trade John Ross. I don't see that as an issue. We still have to see what AJ Green can do today. I think that this is a game that you need to measure AJ Green by. He had 3 games to really get his feet up under him. He's essentially, and the way that I kind of looked at that is from a conditioning standpoint, right? It's about 3 games, 3 preseason games, which would be what he would pretty much use in the preseason, really, to kind of gauge how much he can play and get in shape. So I think that should be good. And then he's going into a matchup here with younger corners, not corners that are as good as some of these first tough matchups that he's had. So I think that this is a game that you actually measure AJ Green by, if that's the case. So a lot of people are talking about certain things that have gone on around the NFL. You kind of talk about what's happening with Cam Newton and the New England Patriots. And then obviously we saw it earlier this week with the Steelers and the Titans, and it's here. These are things that we kind of talked about before the season. These were concerns that I had when I said that they should look into what it would cost to build a bubble. I hear people saying like it's not possible. It's possible. This is the NFL. If any entity in the world was able to do it in terms of a sports entity, it would be this one. Right. They can do it. I'm not saying that it would be easy. They would be able to find a facility where they would be able to do it. I mean, we're talking about places like Disney World and high school fields, college fields. If they were open to it, they could have done it. But right now it's too late. You're in the middle of a season where games have already started. And the thing is, there's no real contingency plan. This should have been hashed out. If they decided we're not going to go into a bubble, there should be some sort of contingency plan in place to make sure that this season finishes. And there are already whispers talking about it right now where coaches are saying, hey, maybe we pause the season, come up with that plan, and come back into it with a lessened schedule. So you're already talking about taking away possibly 5 games, right? What does that do to a team like the Bengals? This is why you had to win these games. This is why the first 3 games you had to go out and be a 2-1 or a 3-0 and not a 0-2-1, right? Because if that's the case and we have a shortened season, what does that mean for the Bengals? There's all of these variables that are going on out there, and I don't like the whole thing where it's just like, hey, we're just going to swap bye weeks and stuff like that. You can't do that, because when you run into a team that doesn't have a bye week or doesn't have the schedule flexibility, you're going to be faced with this. And it took 3 or 4 players or whatever it was for them to actually just swap around that Titans-Steelers game. And luckily, we're still going to get some play out of the Patriots and the Chiefs, but this is concerning. This is alarming. We'll have to see where this goes. I don't know. I don't know where it goes. So we'll have to see. But for me, I think that this is something that the NFL has to figure out. And when you look across the leagues, you look at the NBA and how they handled everything, you have to commend Silver. You have to commend Adam Silver. And unfortunately, since the NFL doesn't have equally as great as leadership, these are the situations that they get caught in. I mean, even when we talk about stuff that's happened in the past with them, anytime they're faced with something, they just fumble it. And this is another one. So we'll have to see how this plans out. Hopefully this isn't a last or a delayed weekend of football. If it is, please be sure to watch as much football as you can as possible. So we'll have to see. But yeah, in terms of this game, Bengals have to win this game. They have to win this game. I don't have as much faith in them winning this game, and I'm not trying to be a cynical Bengals fan. You guys know me. I'm far from a cynical guy, but I do want to be realistic, and this has to be a game that the Bengals go out and win. I don't know if they're going to win it. I'm not confident in a win because I think that I'm not confident in this offense or what this coaching staff can do. And especially with the injuries, it makes me even less confident now. So we'll have to see what happens. Obviously, we're getting ready to kick off here. Like I said, please be sure to comment, subscribe, like this video. We've got a lot of things going on right now. We got the Flick Chat, which I will be in live. So if you want to join me, I might not be on Twitter as much. You probably saw me last week not on Twitter as much. That's because I will be in Flick Chat. And we have live game threads, and we're getting ready to launch that pretty soon. And we get those things started, and you can talk directly to me. Like, I will voice my frustration. If there is a frustrating play, I will talk about everything. Last week, it was somewhat spotty because my daughter did have her first volleyball practice. So I was there and trying to pay attention to there and the Bengals game. I had that streaming while I was doing it. But Flick Chat, Josh Holland asked, what's Flick Chat? It's actually FLICK. I'm going to put it in the chat. Essentially what it is, if you're familiar with what Discord is, it's pretty much one of those, but it's really something that's like a group chat just for sports fans. And there's one specifically for the Bengals. It's the New Stripe City one that I've created. So it's in there. We have about 100 members in there now. Also, if you join the chat and you interact with us, you can actually be entered for the Xbox giveaway. But then it's also kind of like an extension of the community that we have here. That's what my vision was for it. All these guys that we have in the chat, whether it's Muscle Hamster, whether it's Rogue Gray 85, whether it's Omar, all of you guys. I like seeing you guys interact with each other. I like interacting with you. And so I think that instead of me going through, thousands of comments, I try my best to try to get to you guys and talk to you and react to them. But it's just a lot easier when we can do it in that medium. And it's another place where you guys know that I'm connected and I have certain people that I can ask stuff. It's also something where I'm trying to provide an avenue for you guys to, push questions to me that I can ask to them to figure out. Now, obviously, there's going to be certain things that I can't ask them in terms of personal. There's a line that I don't cross when it comes to that because these guys are human beings. These guys, we want to make sure that they're comfortable. But there's also special things that I have in there, like the EDP interview. A lot of you guys commented in here and said, hey, Ace, we want you to interview EDP. Well, if you check out the Flick Chat, it's in there. So I have something where I asked him a set of questions. He responded to them. So there's going to be different kind of content and different kind of opportunities in there. But essentially, it's a bunch of chats in there going on various topics. There's a main chat. The main chat is essentially a main chat for the Bengals. We have NFL chats. If you want to talk NBA, we can. We also have all kind of things in there. We have Bengals memes things where people submit the best memes. Essentially, that's what it is. It's really fun. It's really dope. It's something that I believe in. It's not something that I'm just trying to push on you guys just because, right? As soon as I downloaded the app, I was just like, man, this is something dope. This is something new. This is something fresh. This is something that I could see myself utilizing. And that's whenever somebody offers a partnership or something like that with me, the first thing that I'm doing is I'm going and checking that stuff out. So you guys saw Fanatics, and this isn't something where I take everything. I don't take everything. One story, I don't want to put anyone out, but someone made me an offer to try to sell fake jerseys, and I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. That's not what we do here. And that's why we ended up partnering with Fanatics, legit places. Fanatics is the official merchandiser of the NFL. So I'm not going to send you guys stuff that's not going to be up to standard and something that I wouldn't get myself. Because I've been there, right? I've had someone get me a jersey before that wasn't authentic. And I had one of these jerseys. So you can see that this is an iron-on attached to a Stitch jersey. Like, I would never want that to happen to anyone. That's just a waste of money. Like, whether you're saving money or not, it's still a waste of money. So that's why I offer these things for you guys. That's why I'm doing things like giveaways and stuff like that. I also have a Tyler Boyd autograph here that I'm going to give away eventually. So if you never know, that's why I'm saying, if you join the Flick Chat, if you do some of these things, if you subscribe, you never know what could be on your way. Like this is Tyler Boyd. For those who can't see it, number 83, that is officially from there. And as you can see in the back, there's a lot of different autographs there. So a lot of the stuff that I get you guys and I try to do is all for Cincinnati fans. And if you're attending the game today, please wear a mask. Like please wear a mask. The last thing that we need is any of our players or staff or anyone infected and any of our Bengals games shut down. So please wear a mask. Hopefully we can get things going. And yeah, it's definitely on Android, Josh. It's on all platforms. It's actually called Flick Chat. Let me see. I don't know if I can show it to you guys here or not, but it's kind of got this blue logo here. And let me see if I can pull up an image of it real quick. But it's dope. It's from the creators of FanDuel. So like the guys who created FanDuel wanted to make something else that's pretty dope. And I honestly enjoy it. Like I even checked and I've even connected with several YouTubers and have told them like, hey, this is like pretty legit. Like it's really cool. It could be like a new wave of like the future in terms of communicating and communities within sports. It's almost like Reddit mixed with Discord, mixed with just some really cool things going on. And last week, I'm not going to brag, but I was 5 for 5 with my predictions on the Eagles-Bengals game. And so we're going to try to keep the streak alive. But here, let me show you guys real quick. Throw it up on the screen here. So as you guys can see, it's in the Google Play Store. It's in the App Store. It's a live chat. These kind of represent the live now thing. So I'll be doing one of these during the game, and you can literally just comment in there and we can talk. And there's announcements, there's game stats, there's all kind of stuff. So please be sure to check it out. I'm going to be in there. We do polls, quizzes, daily team news. It's all kind of an all-in-one kind of thing. So it's very dope. It sends you notifications when that stuff happens. And it's from me. Like you can literally DM me. You can literally like comment on something. I'll read it and be able to come back to you. So that's what we're doing today. But hopefully we get the Bengals to win. We'll see. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say you guys on saying that the Bengals are automatically going to get a dub. This isn't going to be an easy game, guys. So just stay tuned. Let's stay confident in our Bengals. Let's hope that they get away with a win here. Got another question in the chat. A great question by Evan Grant. He's asking, when does the giveaway end? So the Xbox giveaway is actually contingent on a few things. And so what I'll do first is let me pull up. I have a pinned tweet. If you follow me on Twitter at New Stripe City, if you're not following me there, please be sure to follow me there. This is why I try to do certain things for you guys on all platforms. I'm going to show you this right here, and it's going to include the instructions for the giveaway. And so I know that it could be simple. To me, it's pretty simple, but this is what you have to do. You have to follow these steps. You have to join the NSC Flick. This address right here should immediately allow you to take it to whatever your store is and be able to go ahead and grab that. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're already a subscriber, that's already done. If you're just viewing this for the first time, make sure that you subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at New Stripe City on both of those areas. As long as you're following me there, you're good. And then you have to retweet and like this post. So this is pinned. This is a pinned tweet. If you go to my Twitter, it's right there. All you have to do, like and retweet it. And then once you join the NSC Flick chat and once you're in there, you just comment Xbox on any one of those chats that's in there, any of those threads, and you are entered. Once we get past that, then this is when the winner is announced. So we have to reach 8,000 subs. I think we're at 6.5, nearing 7 on YouTube. And then once we get 500 Flick chat members, I'll announce the winner. So right now we're at 103 in Flick. So we got to get 400 people there, and we got to get to 8K. That's not hard. Like that's not that hard. And I have it reserved. I'm going to hold on to it until it ends, but it's up to you guys. If we can get as many people in those to get those thresholds, we can get this out. We can announce a winner. Somebody could be walking home with an Xbox, and that's hard to do these days. That's hard to do. But I've already got the pre-order stashed. If I'm not mistaken, I believe the Xbox comes out November 10th. And so if you want to have it, as soon as it releases, we got to get everybody in on this. We've got to get everything going. So we'll get to it. But I'm about to run. We've got some more news possibly to share next week. I got some meetings scheduled earlier next week with some different entities. So we'll see. But thank you guys for listening. This has been the pregame show. Hopefully our Bengals can get a win against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We'll have to see. Like it's on you, Zach. It's on this staff. Can they do it? We'll see. I'll come back and obviously be here for you guys at halftime. I've been also thinking about doing some live streams during the game. If you guys want to watch me do like live play analysis after watching the games and stuff like that, let me know in the comments. Let me know. That's something that I'm thinking of doing here. So that way it's almost similar to how it was for the draft. I know for those who were there watching me during the draft, I did a live stream during it. Obviously, I can't show this stuff, so I can't show the game or anything like that. They'll flag the channel and get rid of it. So if you are open to that, be sure to comment. But as usual, I leave you guys with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday.